That's right. We're talking about sloth. Now, sloth is one of those sins that isn't very interesting. It's not as interesting as envy or lust or certainly wrath, one of my favorites. But it is important nonetheless because there's so much we can gain from sloth. How can we move through the world in a more sloth-like way? Because as you know, Evil Week is not about dispelling the 7 deadly sins. It's about embracing them. It's about using them to our advantage. It's about stepping into the shoes of wickedness to see what we can gain for our own lives and, ironically, the betterment of our lives and perhaps even the betterment of people around us. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could anything like lying be beneficial? Well, I'll explain it to you. But before we get started, just want to remind you to head on over to Vault NYC. You can finally buy my revenge necklace. I've been working on this project forever. I'm so excited it's finally here. I was really focused on getting the highest quality jewelry at the lowest possible price point. These are so affordable. They're under $80, which is like kind of unheard of for a jewelry piece of this caliber, but I really wanted to make it accessible for all my little shalligators because we need to showcase our love for revenge, not just in spirit, not just in behavior, but in fashion. Also, be sure to follow me on Instream if you are new here and you would like a little bit more evil in your life. We're going to be heading over to Instream to do the rest of Evil Week because they are going to get far more evil, and YouTube doesn't really let us unfurl our evil flag the way that honestly we should be. So head over to instream.com/Shallon Lester to sign up. It's uncensored, ad-free, $2 a month. Not bad. 50 cents a video to learn how to be incredibly evil. And we're going to be culminating Evil Week with a video on Cleopatra, the art of seduction and lust, how to seduce absolutely anyone. Guaranteed. So let's talk sloth. Today we're going to talk about how to lie convincingly. And I know what you're thinking. If you're new here, if you don't understand that Evil Week is not an ironic title, we are truly trying to be a bit more evil. Why do we want to be a better liar? I mean, do I really need to explain it? First of all, there are actual positive benefits to being a good liar. And the first and the foremost is you're quicker on your feet. And this can actually serve as a survival instinct and a survival mechanism. There are a lot of scenarios in our life where lying might save our lives. Or at the very least, it saves us from a lot of trouble that really isn't much of an inconvenience to anyone else. Don't believe me? Oh, it's too late for me to check in. Oh, but if I don't make this flight to Cleveland, I'll never see my nephew being born. Isn't there anything you can do? I just don't know what I'll do if I can't be there for my sister. They don't need to know that you were actually blowing a guy in the Dairy Queen parking lot and that's why you missed check-in for your flight. No, it doesn't matter. They can do a little bit of good by you doing a little bit of bad, and everyone ends up happy. Like I said, lying is also crucial sometimes to save your life. I am fascinated by stories of people who were taken hostage and manipulated their hostage takers or the bank robber or the mugger or whoever and used their wits to be sly and cunning and save their own life, maybe get them to safety. Let's just pull the car over and we can talk. Or, you know what, just go into this gas station with me. Come on, let's get some stuff for our fun night of hostage taking in this weird motel room. We need to be able to sell it, right? And certainly in business, this is an absolutely crucial skill. You know what, Mr. Johnson? I think that project is a great idea. Never mind that I came up with it 6 months ago and you didn't like it. I love it. You know what? You do enough. Why don't you let me take it over? No, I don't mind. War is strategy. And life, in many ways, is a war. We're constantly at war in terms of seeking a positive outcome for ourselves while tempering that with morality and moving through the world in a non-completely evil way. And truly, being a good liar is helpful. So here's some things you need to know about how to be a good liar. Number one, men lie almost fucking constantly. They are twice as likely to lie as women. They tell twice as many lies. And they are 70% more likely than women to consider themselves a good liar. Why am I bringing this up? Because people don't assume women lie. People assume that we're truthful. This can be used to your advantage. Also, most people are truthful. There was a study done of about 1,000 people, and it was about lying. And they found that of the people who lied in that group, it was the same 5% who lied over and over and over again. That means that the majority of lies are concentrated within habitual liars. Most people don't lie. I mean, we all tell the little white lies. You look fantastic in that dress. No, you will of course lose 5 pounds by Thursday. Get it. Get it. These grease the wheels of relationships and friendships, and certainly how we move through life and through the earth. Like through the earth. But my point about telling you that most people are truthful is because you can also use this to your advantage. People are going to assume that you as a woman and you as a non-chronic liar are telling the truth. So what you want to do, if you know you have a scenario in which you are going to have to lie, say you're cheating on your boyfriend, you want to save up those lie brownie points, right? Because people who do lie, they lie constantly. My ex-boyfriend was a chronic, habitual liar. And he lied about little things. He lied about the weather. Oh, it rained this morning. No, it hadn't. He lied about getting into a fight with his Uber driver. He lied about what kind of coffee he ordered. He just lied endlessly. And I was foolish enough to tell myself that, hey, because he lied about the little things, at least he's not lying about the big things. I can at least see these lies. But I know he's telling the truth about why he went to Africa and with whom. Because why would someone lie about that? Why would someone lie to Shallon Lester, who wears a necklace that says revenge? He was a foolish man. Anyway, so if people do trust you, exploit this. So say you're cheating on your boyfriend, right? You want to keep your other lies, the little white lies, the things that people don't want to hear. You want to keep those as truthful as possible. You know what? That dress is not for you. No, it's not. I love you, but you can do better. I was late because I sat on my bed for 45 minutes in a towel and I just didn't want to come. Ooh. It was me who broke the Nespresso machine. It wasn't the cleaning lady. It wasn't the dog. It's not Noodles. It was me. This is going to cultivate a sense of trustworthiness so that when it's, of course, I wasn't out with my ex-boyfriend at Sidewinders. No, honey, I was with Jackie and Alexis. You're so silly. This is going to be helpful for you in keeping you out of trouble. Now, last Evil Week, we did a video on how to cheat and get away with it. And of course, everyone who hates me latched onto that. But the thesis of that video was just don't, because it's going to tear you into two people. I've cheated on people and I've been cheated on. And it's agony on both sides. It's agony on the person cheating. It's obviously agony on the victim. And truly, lying is the same way. It erodes us and corrodes us after a while. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be able to be good at it. I'm good at shooting guns. I don't do it very often. But I know that if I need to, I am able to do that. And that is a skill I've cultivated. Even though it's scary, even though it feels strange and weird and lethal sometimes, I pride myself on still being able to use that in a time of need. Another key component to being a good liar is lying in real life. Now, this might sound contrary, right? But it's so much easier to lie over text. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late. There's family of raccoons, and they got into the house, and they started stealing my debit card. Why do we want to lie in real life? Well, first of all, we can gauge people's reactions, right? And we can see just how malleable and gullible they are. If you have that one friend who you know they're going to see right through you because they've known you since you were 11, they're like, really, raccoons? That's interesting. You need to be able to tailor your message accordingly so that they believe you more. And you need to know that that's your friend that you can't get one over on. But maybe you have other friends who are a little bit more provincial, shall we say. You also want to lie in real life because people, studies show, assume more deception is taking place online. They assume that your text about why you're late, oh my gosh, I'll be there in 2 minutes. You haven't even left yet. They assume deception. People do not assume as much deception in real life. You want to use that to your advantage. Oh my gosh, Karen, I'm so sorry. Here, no, let me get your code. Oh yeah, oh, I'm just in a tizzy. Like these raccoons, I know, they came into my house. One of them said he was running for Congress, wanted me to vote for him. It was all very bizarre. It was very bizarre, but I'm here now. What should we order? I'll have the Cobb salad. People don't expect to be lied right to their face, right? They don't expect that. And when they are lied to their face, they expect those common tells. Oh, the hand on the back of the neck, covering their face. Another big thing is, let's say these are your feet, you roll one foot to the outside edge. I think you're unconsciously shifting. You want to shift literally away from this unpleasant topic, right? And that's true, especially like people always think the eye contact, it's like, oh, a liar will never look you in the eye. I learned when I was about 4 years old to look people in the eye if I was fibbing. I did not taste the dog food. It must have been my grandmother. I was an only child, and I feel like only children are more manipulative. I don't know why. That can't be right. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. It's Evil Week. So if you can lie in real life, you have a higher chance of people believing you. And so we were talking about these body language tells. Scientists have discovered that this is truly inconclusive about lying. Some people are nervous, and not all people who lie give those physical markers. So we have to beware. Practice liars, no, they don't do that. I mean, they're very good at selling it. They're very convincing. They might be a sociopath or even a psychopath. So that's why people like that can easily pass a lie detector test. A lie detector measures stress, and people feel stressed when they're not telling the truth. It creates a cognitive dissonance. We as humans want to tell the truth. That's why most people do. And so if you have someone who does not have that stress, who does not have that impetus to have morality, they don't have that cognitive dissonance, well, they can pass a lie detector test with flying colors. No, I didn't do that. Also, this is interesting. A way to pass a lie detector, a way to fake it, actually, is to believe that what you did was for altruistic reasons, because then you negate that cognitive dissonance. You negate the stress of, I've done something wrong, but I'm pretending I didn't. If you say, I've done something right, and it's crucial that I cover it up to further this rightness, that cognitive dissonance evaporates. Did you break into that animal testing lab and free those beagles? Nope, wasn't me. I'd have no problem lying about that because I don't think it's wrong. Did you tip that old woman's car upside down? No, that's wrong. Don't do that. Another crucial tactic in order to be a good liar is to embed lies within the truth, right? And most of us know this. I mean, all the best lies, all the most sellable and believable lies have a kernel of truth. Where were you? You were out so late. Okay, you were at the bar. You were at the bar with your ex-boyfriend, not your friends. You're like, I was at KK's. I was at the bar. Like, what? I was at the bar. Well, who were you with? I was with Alexis and Jackie. You have a little bit of truth there, which gives that air of believability, and then you just kind of like pork barrel on the lie. Yes, you were at KK's, but you were not with Alexis and Jackie, right? It's also important to pad the lie with just as many truths as there are lies, because this is another way that people get in trouble when they lie. And I love this. I love the scene in The Office when I think the guys go out to, they do something naughty, and Andy, they're like, okay, Andy, just say we went to lunch. And he's like practicing. He's like, I went to lunch. It was 9:35. I sat down. My waitress's name was Stephanie. I looked over the menu. I was going to get a prime rib, but then I decided on a Diet Coke. There was too much ice. I asked for another cup. And it was just like too many details. And they were like, just don't say anything. Don't say anything. You were a terrible liar. This is something we can learn from. We want just as many truths as there are lies. Okay. So let's go back to the scenario. We were at the bar with our ex-boyfriend instead of our friends. Oh, really? Well, what'd you do at the bar? It's like, I mean, we played video poker. I drank a red beer. Alexis threw up. Alexis wasn't there. Like some guys came in. One dude wanted to start a bar fight. Then Jackie was like crying because her boyfriend's being mean to her. Jackie wasn't there. Even though all those other things happened, you can kind of, while you're telling the truth, slip, like I said, that lie in there, because you're still cognitively and even physically, how you're speaking, telling the truth, and you can just sort of embed it under there. But it's very crucial to have a balance. If you have too many lies, like, I don't know, like I had a red beer and then Jackie started throwing up and Alexis was crying, and then our other friend, Katrina, came in and she was all, you're out of control. You're out of control because your brain is working too hard. And this brings me to the number one tell of a liar. They're thinking too hard. The truth is easy to remember. It's automatically embedded in your brain. A lie is fiction. And very few of us are good fiction writers. I've written a fiction book. I didn't particularly enjoy it. It wasn't very good. So I do this for a living, and I'm not even particularly good for it. So if we see someone working too hard, like, did you ever see Death Becomes Her? It's one of my favorite movies. And the scene where Meryl Streep goes over to her like 20-year-old boyfriend's house, Dakota. And she's like, oh my God, you're not alone. He's like, of course I am. And she sees this like naked woman walking through his room. And she's like, oh, and he's like, oh, she's here to fix that's the cousin of, and she's like, for Christ's sakes, lie quickly. And he's like, I am trying to. It's so good. But that is such a crystal clear example of when we're lying, we're like, and this is my, we can't do it. But the truth is easy. How do we learn from this? Come up with your lies in advance. Plan the worst case scenario. Because this is what happens when we lie. A fight or flight response kicks in, right? And this is a typical panic response. And we see this kind of panic response when we're confronted with a mugger or when we're confronted with someone who wants to know where the fuck we were until 3 a.m. and we don't have an answer they want to hear. So you need to anticipate that fight or flight response, because just like someone who confronts a mugger, like a soldier in war, a policeman, whatever, they go through this scenario again and again and again and again until that fear is dialed down, until they have anticipated how they're going to feel in that fight or flight response. And they have, most importantly, come up with a way to manage it. This is important. So if a soldier knows, hey, if I see a dude with a gun pointed at me, my reaction is to duck. I have to learn to override that, right? Or if I duck, I keep the weapon up and I duck behind it and I duck behind the scope, okay? And they do it again and again and again until they've moved that ducking, that flinching mechanism into something positive. Now they've got a weapon and now it's an engagement, okay? How can we do this with a lie? Think about what someone might ask you. Well, you know, we're going to get there in a minute. Control the panic and plan for it. This is very important. How do you feel when you've been caught in a lie before? What's your tell? For me, I get really red. Like this scarlet bloom up my chest. I'm like, My mom actually gets the same kind of flush when she fibs and she plays poker with her friends. And she knows that if she does, she has to wear a turtleneck because she can't be like, no, I don't have a full house. I don't know. So I've kind of inherited that from her. So here's a trick. Lie in front of the mirror. If you know you're going to have to tell a big lie, maybe why you're taking vacation days, right? Okay. It's like, oh, I have to take this time off. I have to get okay. Do you stutter? Do you stumble? Have you not planned the lie out ahead of time? Let's go back to our bar example. All right. You're in the bathroom at the bar. You're swaying. You're like, I was out with my friends tonight. Okay. Think about how your voice sounds. Maybe it's your voice that's a tell. Maybe you're looking down. Maybe you're shifting. Maybe you're touching your face like that. When we touch our face when we lie, it's because we're subconsciously trying to keep the lie in. We don't want to lie. And again, most people don't. Most people are truthful. Use that to your advantage. So while you're practicing your lie in the mirror, pretend like you're a reporter or pretend like you're the person who you're going to tell the lie to, and come up with some on-the-fly questions that you might not anticipate them asking, but they still might. Oh, you were at the bar with Kristen and Alexis and Jackie? What was the special drink tonight? It was the buttery nipple shot. It was a buttery nipple shot, obviously. Try to come up with these things. Try to anticipate what people might say. Here's another good tip. Introverts are more likely to be considered untruthful than extroverts. Let's reverse that. People believe extroverts more. Why? They're usually more confident. A lot of times they're more charming. They're a bit more socially fluid, right? And so they can weave those lies in a way that sells a bit better than an introvert who maybe just doesn't talk to a lot of people. You know, like introverts, a lot of us are introverts, and it's like we just don't, I shouldn't say we, because obviously I'm sorry. Like we don't interact with people in the same way, and we might just be more truthful people, you know? So mimic what extroverts do, okay? People believe them more, so try to mimic that charm, but it has to be kind of a gradual slope. If you know you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to lie a lot, like say you're going to Thanksgiving with your family and you have to lie and pretend that you didn't drop out of law school, okay? If you are fun, Mom, let me help you with the dishes. Oh my gosh, Uncle Marty, did you bring photos from your latest bass fishing trip? Of course I want to see them. People are going to be like, oh, she's so outgoing, she's fun, she's happy. It's like, oh, law school's going great. Yeah, thank you so much for asking. You embed it right on in there, and it seamlessly processes past the part of this person's brain that's like, beep, bop, boop, that's a lie. I detect an untruth. And it's going to go right to the center that believes you. And my last tip for being a good liar is stay within your baseline. Now, this is where a lot of people get tripped up. Someone's cheating on their husband or their boyfriend. Their behavior is different. And so it raises red flags. Children, this happens to children too. When we're a kid and we first learn to lie, did you know that children under 2 never lie? Ever. It's crazy, right? And lying peaks at adolescence. Their theory is because social relationships are at the utmost importance. So kids are going to lie to be able to get out of the house, to see their friends, to go see the boy, whatever they have to do. They're going to say whatever they have to prioritize, excuse me, those social relationships. So staying in your baseline means if you are telling lie, first of all, your lie needs to be believable in and of itself. It's like if you never go to the bars and if you never see Jackie and Alexis and you actually kind of hate them, your boyfriend isn't going to buy that you were out with them. Or if Alexis doesn't drink, you can't say, well, she was drinking so much she threw up. And then Jackie was crying about her boyfriend. Jackie doesn't have a boyfriend. So things need to kind of make sense. But the way you sell it also needs to make sense too. If you start getting angry when someone asks you a question, well, that's a bad sign. We've all seen that in reverse. It's like, where were you tonight? Why are you always asking me why are you on my back about this? And you're like, Jesus, okay. That's a sure sign someone's lying. It's also a sign they're gaslighting you, but that's a whole other video. And I've done many videos on gaslighters and how to spot them and how to deal with them. So keep your behavior between the navigational beacons, right? If you don't ever tell long, flowery stories, don't start now. If you don't do things like go to the bars, don't make that part of your lying arsenal. So to review, exploit the fact that most people tell the truth. Lie in the mirror and see what your tells are. Learn to refine them. Learn that muscle memory like the soldier who's ducking. Keep just as many truths in your story and your fake narrative as there are fibs. That will help embed the message into something that is a bit more swallowable for the person. But of course, last but not least, lie sparingly. These are tools you want to employ only in a time of absolute necessity. You don't want to be that person who just lies about the weather, their coffee order. You don't want to do that. It creates a shifty, gross person. And truly, once trust is lost, it's extremely hard to get back. My ex, said that he's made progress and why he lies. I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you when you're lying about lying. You can't really put the genie back in the bottle and you can't unring that bell. So if you are going to have to lie, make sure there is absolutely no other option until you can pull back and figure out what a better option might be. I hope you're enjoying Evil Week. Like I said, from here on out, Evil Week will be on Instream, where we can get fantastically wicked, devilishly clever, and sinisterly sly. I'll see you later, Shalligators.